Hello, listeners. This is Ed Walker from BlackHelicopterRadio.com. Just going to do a little thing on here about Black Friday, which, as you all know, is the big shopping day, the day after Thanksgiving, which is today, the 26th of November 2010. So, you might be saying, Ed, why are you discussing Black Friday? I thought you talked about the Illuminati and the Grand Conspiracy and all sorts of those fun topics. Those topics that the mainstream loves to ostracize and talk down on. But no, I'm talking about Black Friday because I actually think it says a whole lot about this culture we live in, specifically here in America. Um, it is absolutely amazing, Black Friday to me, anyways. I remember last year reading about someone being trampled to death. I believe it was actually, it could have been last year or '08, but regardless, things happen every Black Friday. But there was one incident in particular of I believe a Walmart employee actually being trampled to death by shoppers. And I'll get into that into a second, but that was what really kind of I remember reading that in the newspaper and literally feeling sick to my stomach. The implications of that are huge when you just think of how sad and pathetic our culture is, and just overall just society in general in America. I mean, it is sad, people. It is absolutely horrible. And please don't anyone say, "Oh, you're just being negative, Ed." No, it's real. The general public are just completely lost and just distracted by little gizmos and gadgets and literally killing each other over PlayStations and such. So let me just start out with a few clips. Okay, here's one of people camping out at a Best Buy. This is from Thanksgiving, but I've seen clips of people camping out for days before that even. But yeah, here they are. They're camping out. The guys are all just talking about all these little things they want. Like, oh, I want a Wii and I want a TV, and some of them, they can barely speak coherently. They just kind of mumble about some little gadgets they want, and flashing lights and cool little colors that keep them happy, I guess. So here they are eating while they're camping out. Probably eating some nasty GMO-filled just garbage and absolutely poisoning them and sterilizing them. Yeah, here's them camping out in their little tents. Oh, look, they have a Mexican flag on their tent. That makes them. I'm sure this is the cream of the crop of people. They're proud of their country. They show how proud they are of their country by waiting in line at Best Buy to buy some Chinese-made garbage. So yeah, here they are, the over-entertained, despiritualized zombies waiting. Okay, so we have that. I mean, nothing much more interesting to see there. Then we go into a man trampled by Black Friday Stampede and dies. Yeah. Oh, okay, I believe it looks like it was in '08 then that this happened. Yeah, a worker of Slave Mart, Slave Mart, the Chinese company that works in America, and I say they're Chinese because basically everything they sell is made in China. So we support the Chinese economy greatly by shopping there, I'm sure. Let's see. Here was a guy that was actually trampled by shoppers. Yeah, they just really needed that TV so bad that this guy, I guess he had to die for them to save, a couple bucks on the TV or whatever. That's pretty logical. Here's a video actually going into that, and I think I'll just play this. It's only 2 minutes, and this video does a pretty good job of just describing how sad and pathetic our culture truly is. So in case you can't read this on the video, I don't know how big this, when I'm playing this on YouTube, so I'll just read it for you. During the time men live without a common power to keep them all in awe, they are in that condition which is called war, and such a war as is of every man against every man. Thomas Hobbes. And then we go, worker dies at Long Island Walmart after being trampled in Black Friday Stampede. Okay, here's some, clips from just the absolute chaos. A Walmart worker died early Friday after an out-of-control mob of frenzied shoppers smashed through the Long Island store's front doors and trampled him, police said. The Black Friday stampede plunged into chaos. Here's the sheep getting their Chinese-made goods. Roughly 2,000 people gathered outside the Walmart's doors in the pre-dawn darkness, chanting, "Push the doors in!" The crowd pressed against the glass as the clock ticked down to the 5 a.m. opening. Sensing catastrophe, here's all the people. They look so enlightened. Sensing catastrophe, employees formed a human chain inside the entrance to slow down the mass of shoppers. It didn't work. The mob barreled in and overwhelmed workers. This is the part that if this doesn't get to you, I'm sorry, but you have no soul. When they were saying they had to leave, that an employee got killed, people were yelling, I've been in line since Friday morning." They kept shopping. So, just let that sink in for a second. Okay, so a human, someone died, okay? The sheeple, but they still wanted, their wheeze, and they were just so sad, they just would have been so upset that they had to leave. This guy, I guess he had to die. It's just one death for all these people to get their useless, materialistic garbage, right? Sorry, I mean, it's just, I don't, I feel like maybe I shouldn't even be sarcastic at this point. It's just so disgusting. I mean, this is our dilemma, people. This is why we are slaves. If people cannot realize that this is literally what I'm talking about right here, is why America is doomed. I'm sorry, but things are not looking too hopeful when you start reading things like this. And people, you might say, well, this is just some crazy shoppers. No, this is the type of mindset the vast majority of people in America have. I guarantee you. This is it, people. Let me just read some notes I wrote. Yeah, I mean, there's always shootings, things that go on here. This just absolutely shows how empty, people's lives are. This is absolutely pathetic. As long as, the average person in America is in this incredibly materialistic, shallow, self-centered, and just downright stupid state of mind, we'll remain slaves. So that's why this is important to talk about, because this shows you so much, our dilemma, like I said. And then you could kind of look at it, from the perspective of, the New World Order elite, and, they always say that we're useless eaters. They talk about us as complete scum. Well, when you act like this, you don't want to justify what they're saying. They look at things like this and say, maybe to people that are on the fence about, trying to kill off 90% of the population like the Georgia Guidestones, they say, look, these people, all they care about are little flashing lights and video games and movies. They don't even care about each other. They'll trample over someone to get a stupid Nintendo Wii or whatever they're trying to get. So yeah, here's one from recently. This is from actually today. Let me just replay this for you all to see. Oh, well, it'll play in a second. This ad has to go through, but yeah, here's another one. Shopper accused of gun threat. A mom, apparently. She cut in front of line at a Toys R Us, and when people started calling her out on it, she said that she was going to get a gun. And then she told the police, "I was just trying to get a toy for my little daughter." It is just so pathetic. Okay, here we go. Here's the clip. Here's the American sheeple at work. All right, here they go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, go, run, yeah, hurry, it's so important. Oh, trampled, ooh, that looks painful. Wow, your lives are empty. I hope some of you that maybe were in that stampede of craziness are seeing my video right now and you can see how stupid you look to the rest of the world. It is so sad, people. Look at this chaos. You notice people will do that. They'll stampede and run over and get all riled up, so they can save a few bucks on a big stereo. But when they find out, when we have solid evidence that we're being poisoned through the water supply, when we're being sprayed up above by by airplanes with chemtrails through toxic poisons, when we find out that the government lied to get us into a war in Iraq, when we find out 9/11 was an inside job. Do you see anything like this? Not even close. Yeah, so here's a thing about a mall brawl. Yeah, it looks like some half a dozen men got into a fight in the food court of a mall. Oh wow. Okay, let's see what else we have. Oh, Black Friday shooting at Toys R Us. This is from '08. Oh, 2 people died. Toys R Us in a shooting. Okay. And then last but not least, I had to show this, at least to kind of leave it on a somewhat at least humorous note, if that's all you can do. Sometimes in a tragic world, all you can really do is laugh. But here's Idiocracy. If any of you are not familiar with this movie, it was almost prophetic. It's so eerie, actually. It's made by Mike Judge, who made Office Space, which is another movie describing the everyday life of your average American. And Idiocracy was a movie showing in the future how people are just so incredibly dumbed down and disgusting, and just acting like slobs, that this person travels time. This very average guy travels time, but he's seen as a genius to all these just idiots. This guy's super average, just not too smart, not dumb, but he's seen as a complete genius because people are just de-evolving into the most pathetic forms of life you could imagine. Alright, so like I said, people, I'm not trying to be too negative. It's just sometimes, we gotta, stop living in la la land and hearing all these people like, oh, things are turning out. We voted for a few Tea Party, Republicans, and that'll stop the New World Order, right? Nothing's going to stop unless people really take a good look at themselves. The struggle against the Illuminati begins with yourself, ultimately, people. So that's my message. Like I said, I'm not trying to be too negative or anything, but it's just so true, and you can't deny what I'm saying. Alright, I'll leave it at that. You guys have a good evening. I remember reading that in the newspaper and literally feeling sick to my stomach. The implications of that are huge when you just think of how sad and pathetic our culture is, and just overall just society in general in America. I mean, it is sad, people. It is absolutely horrible. And please don't anyone say, oh, hello, listeners. This is Ed Walker from BlackHelicopterRadio.com. Just going to do a little thing on here about Black Friday, which, as you all know, is the big shopping day, the day after Thanksgiving, which is today, the 26th of November 2010. So, you might be saying, Ed, why are you discussing Black Friday? I thought you talked about the Illuminati and the Grand Conspiracy, and all sorts of those fun topics, those topics that the mainstream loves to ostracize and talk down on. But no, I'm talking about Black Friday because I actually think it says a whole lot about this culture we live in, specifically here in America. It is absolutely amazing, Black Friday, to me, anyways. I remember last year reading about someone being trampled to death. I believe it was actually it could have been last year or '08, but regardless, things happen every Black Friday. But there was one incident in particular of I believe a Walmart employee actually being trampled to death by shoppers. And I'll get into that in a second, but that was what really I remember